Hey, what's up, guys? This is AkatsukiAkuma with a Netflix show review this time. Now, I don't do these movie reviews and show reviews a lot, but usually when there's like something I want to talk about, there's a lot on my mind, and or a lot of people haven't really made reviews about it. That's when I kind of jump in there and throw my 2 cents in. Today we're going to be talking about Slasher. Again, it's a Netflix original. Actually, it's not a Netflix original. I think it came over from the Chiller network, but Chiller merged with Netflix, so they're calling it a Netflix original, I guess. Which is kind of odd, but hey, we'll take it. Um, and I'm a person that loves horror movies, so me and my girlfriend started this in October. I think when it came out last year, October 2017. I stopped it, and then I picked it up recently in August of 2018 this year. And like once I got the ball rolling again, watching it, I got back into it. I got sucked up into it, and I was like, man, this is pretty good. And I don't want to say it's really good because I'm a horror aficionado. I know my horror and I love like really great horror. This is pretty good. It's not super amazing, but it's not super bad either. There's not a lot of horror uh, slasher film there's not a lot of horror slasher films and or TV shows like this. So that's one of the things that kind of drew me to it. I've been missing that. All I've been seeing is like exorcists and demons and stuff like that. Let's get back to the slasher. But anyway, let me go ahead and give a review. This is going to be of season 1 and season 2. I'm going to try to go through pretty quickly. I'm not going to waste too much time. I do want to make the comparison to American Horror Story because it is very American Horror Story ish, where season 1 and season 2, they're two different stories, but some of the characters from season 1, well, not the characters, but the actual actors that are in season 1 are in season 2. And it's not many of them, but there's a similarity there that I see this is where slasher is going. So third season is going to be a new story, but it could you could see some of the season 1 characters jump in there, or season 1 actors. So it is very American Horror Story ish. Season 1 started right off the bat with on Halloween night. This guy's friend comes over dressed in an executioner from head to toe. You couldn't see his face. He thought it was his friend, but turns out his friend shows up. His actual friend shows up, but he lets the killer in. And then next thing you know, he gets stabbed in the stomach, and the killer just moves his machete up and down his body. And then he actually kills the wife who came down, who was pregnant at the time. But somehow didn't kill the baby. The baby was safe, and that baby grew up to be the character known as Sarah. I don't know her last name, but Sarah moves back when she's like 20 or something like that, back to the town. I'm not exactly sure why, but she does move back into the same house and everything. I think she wanted to maybe try to uncover the mystery or something like that. But she does move back in, back to the town, and then the killings start back up by the same guy that killed her parents while she was in the womb, the executioner. So I'm gonna skip ahead. I'm just looking at my notes here. I do like the fact that you like if you watch the show, you can have speculations on who the killer may be, but you never really know. And that's also a thing that kind of pisses me off because, like I said, this is very spoiler-ish. So if you haven't seen it, uh, don't continue listening to me. But it turns out that Cam, who was Sarah's best friend or something growing up, who is also the police officer, who seems super protective throughout the whole show. He seems down to earth and everything like that. He turns out to be the fucking killer, and we don't really, you don't really, you don't really have any indication of that until like the last few episodes where they show him as a kid, and they show him like basically killing his mother, pushing her down the stairs. And that's when you know, oh, okay, Cam is a psychopath. But up until that point, you wouldn't know it. So I mean, I think if you have like shows like this where you got a group of characters and you want to try to, it's like a mystery, you want to find out who it is, there should be a little bit more of an indicator as to maybe drop like little hints here and there. Everybody had their baggage, everybody had their dark secrets, so there's never a really likable character in the show. Even Sarah, I didn't really like her that much, but she was probably one of my favorite characters, just because the circumstance she was put in. Um, everybody has shit on their pants basically. Dark secrets. You never really know who could be the killer, but there's really no indicator as to. There's really it doesn't give you enough information to kind of deduct yourself. Oh, this is this person. You can have your theories, but it really doesn't pan out till like the last few episodes, and then you start to understand why Cam is the killer because they go to a flashback. Um, and another spoiler is very spoilerish. Um, Basically, Sarah and her husband, Cam comes to kill them, and Sarah they ended up getting the advantage over him and basically kill Cam by stabbing him multiple times in the chest and then slitting his throat. And then all the while, cops have like shown up at the door and busted in, and they see her red-handed with the knife. And this guy's a police officer. You got to realize Cam is a police officer. I mean, even if he's a psychopath, he is a police officer. So, in the, I think they do like a flash forward of 6 months, and then it's like the husband and wife are like they're happy. They're not in jail for one, and they're actually moving upstate or something. They're moving states, and they're basically saying, "Hey, we're gonna live our fairy tale life or something." Pretty much everything's a closed book at that point. But it's like, in a logic sense, these people would, these two would have gone to jail, even if they killed a psychopath. You would still get jail time because the cops literally, I mean, they didn't literally see her kill Cam, the police officer, but they still killed him. I just thought that was a little weird that they pretty much got off and had their fairy tale ending at after that. So then we jump to season two, which is a different story. Like I said, it's about this group of I don't remember how many there were. I think it was like six or seven summer camp counselors. They're like teenagers when they were camp counselors, and this new camp counselor shows up and ends. She basically ends up stirring the pot with all of them. She's backstabbing them, sleeping with boyfriends, and just telling lies to every one of these camp counselors who were friends. And then they decide to put her on trial, I do quotation marks, trial, and leave her in the middle of the forest at night when it's cold and dark and have her walk back to camp basically. Um, One thing leads to another and they end up killing her. So then they flash forward 5 years later. All the characters have they've been living with this guilt. It's called Slasher Season 2 Guilty Party. They've been living with this guilt for 5 years, and they want to. I think they heard that a mall was being built on top of the land, on top of the camp land. So they wanted to move the body so that, or they wanted to move the skeleton of the towel vendor, who is the camp counselor that started all the shit with them, and they accidentally killed her. They didn't accidentally kill her. They legit killed her. You'll see in the flashbacks they legit killed her, but it didn't start out that way. They're trying to move her body so people don't discover her, and then I guess draw conclusions that, oh, these seven counselors back 5 years ago killed her. So they want to move the body, and basically, when they go up there, that camp land is snowing. The camp land has been turned into like a I don't want to say like a it's like a alcoholics anonymous, not an alcoholics anonymous, but it's like a safe haven for people with problems. If you had a drinking problem, if you've been to prison, If you've been bullied and you've been thinking about suicidal thoughts, this is like a safe haven for you. So these 8 or 7 people that live up there now, they're older people and they've gone through stuff in their life. And basically, the two groups of the camp counselor and the safe group people, 7 and 7 people, 14 all together. They basically start getting picked off by the serial killer that is apparently after both of their groups. So right off the bat, I did like that story. It's kind of relating back to season one, where okay, there's a killer on the loose, taking everybody, no prisoners. The death scenes are really gory, like really gory. The one of the things I didn't like is like I like the death scenes, but the show goes by so fast. I think it's only like 8 episodes or 7 episodes total, or something like that. My facts could be wrong, but I'm just going based off memory. Um, the show is so short that you don't really have time to get connected to a lot of the characters. You get connected to the, I guess, the kids, basically the people who did the killing of the camp counselor, but you don't really have a chance to really get behind anybody, because and then they die like every episode. Like it's maybe one or two at least every episode that die, and it just seems like it seems like the littlest things is so sudden when they die too. It's like there's no build up. There's a little bit of a build up, but then they just fucking die, which kind of was a little bit hilarious to me. But um, like I said, I did like the gory death scenes. It was pretty good in that aspect. Uh, the story is like basically told through flashbacks and in present day. So the flashbacks are actually really good. You get to see a tall vendor, the person they killed, really interacting and fucking with all of them. And you also get to see some of the flashbacks of the safe group people. You do see some flashbacks of them, but it's not like very in depth. So I did like that aspect of it. Just a notable character, Peter, the black guy. I think he's the only black guy in this whole show. He was like the MVP because what he did with he cheated on his girlfriend with Talvinder, who was the one they killed, and when they put her on trial, he was like, I should be the one on trial because I partook in like cheating on my girlfriend. So he was like really caring, and he never wanted to he never wanted to kill her or anything like that. And then even now, he's kind of like the person, the glue of the group, the group, the glue of the camp counselor group in current day, and he's trying to save everybody. He's the most caring of all of them, in my opinion, and I really think he's the MVP of the whole show. But unfortunately, he does die at the end. Spoiler alert! Like I said before, spoiler alert. He does die at the end, and I was like rooting for him. I was actually rooting for him to live, but he doesn't. And someone lives that I didn't think would live. I didn't think that she should have lived, but then again, I mean, I guess it worked out that way. Um, I'm just looking at my notes here. Oh, and the last thing I really want to talk about with season two is like the ending. It's it kind of relates back to season one, where you don't really know who the killer is, and there may be little hints here and there saying, "Oh, this person could be the killer. Oh, this person could be the killer," and you can kind of drum up your conclusions on your own in your head. But until like the last few episodes, they kind of throw a wrench in there, and it's like, what? Where this stuff is coming out of left field. So it turns out the den mother, I forgot her name. She's like the redhead, older lady of the group of the safe group. Apparently, spoiler alert again. I shouldn't keep saying that, but it is a big spoiler. Uh, Basically, when the camp counselors back in the day, they drummed up the story to pretty much blame one of the other camp counselors who they weren't friends with, saying he's the one that killed Talvinder. Oh, he's the one. So they took him to jail. He ended up killing himself, and his mother is actually the den mother of the safe group. So, and I don't know if she was possessed. I don't know if it was like his her son's ghost talking to her because he committed suicide in jail. He couldn't take it anymore, and he told his mother to please seek vengeance for me or something like that. And I don't know if she was possessed or whatever, but there's like he's actually in the show, like in all the episodes, but he's not really there. So maybe I don't know, maybe I'm just figuring this out. Maybe I fucked up and not realizing, oh hey, who is this guy? Why does nobody ever interact with him? I mean, they do interact with him, but it was only the den mother who interacted with him, which was pretty weird. So I mean, basically she's the killer. Den mother is the killer, and I don't know. It just until like the last few episodes, you can't draw that conclusion that oh she's the killer. That she was like the least likely of people that I would have thought was the killer, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, it worked out that way, and I like season two much better than season one. Not by a lot. If I had to rate them on a scale of 1 to 10, I guess I would give season one a 6.5. Like I said, I didn't love it, I didn't hate it, but it was good. It did keep my attention. Uh, Season two, I give it a 7 or a 7 point. I'll say 7.5 because I liked it better than season one. I like the characters a little bit better. You kind of get more of a backstory to each of the character. Not a lot, but you certainly get way more than you do in season one. And the killings are much better, gorier. I think they happen a little bit too fast, but they are great killings. And I do like the plot twist ending. So, I mean, there it is. Now, not a lot of people know about slasher, or at least I usually don't do movie reviews or show reviews unless there's something like there's a lot on my mind that I want to talk about, but I don't have like other YouTubers who have done reviews on it. Like there's not a lot of reviews on slasher, so that's why I decided, hey, let me go ahead and put my thoughts out there, and maybe some people will see it and be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So yeah, if you're a horror fan, I think you will like it. Hopefully, they'll have another season coming out in October this year. I don't think so, because season two just came out a few months ago, I think. But hopefully, they'll put something out. But yeah, that is my slasher season one and season two review. I'm not a professional at this, so I mean, I was kind of all over the place. Forgive me for that. I only do movie reviews when there's like not a lot of reviews or I really have a lot of thoughts in my head that I kind of want to get out and put out there. But anyway, guys, this has been AkatsukiAkuma. Please leave a like on the video if you liked it or if you enjoyed it. Leave a thumbs if you didn't enjoy it. Leave a thumbs down. Whatever, algorithms help either way. But I will see you guys in my next gaming stream, which will probably be in a few days. I will see you later. Peace.